Guess I'm just gonna have to deal with that for now. Hey. Oh well. All right, Shalom is your Shalom Yabashim Shabrakatham to the brothers, Shalom Yahal Shema Alatah Bashim Yahal Shai to the sisters. We are the ISUPK Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible, that all so-called blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous people are the Israelites of the Bible, and that Esau, the white man, is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, today we're going to be going over a couple of things, right? We're going to go over the infamous Immaculate Conception, right? We're going to go over that today. We're also going to be going over a little bit how sex is marriage, right? You know, how brothers and sisters need to take responsibility for what's going on in between their pants, if you get what I mean. Let's see. The reason why we're going over the Immaculate Conception, right, is because, as usual, right, we like to teach that your Christian pastor has lied to you. Roman Catholic Church, whatever little false religion that you choose to believe in, has lied to you. One of the things that the Christian church loves to teach, they absolutely love this, is to teach that Yahushua Mashiach, or Jesus Christ as you would know him in the Bible, was just born out of thin air. He has no mother, he has no father, right? He is not made unto the likeness of man. We're going to investigate that today, right? We're going to go over this so-called Immaculate Conception in the Bible, right? We're going to find out some things for ourselves. Because Christianity is one of the worst things to ever happen to so-called blacks and Hispanics in this country, especially. I'm talking to all my so-called African Americans, Haitians, Jamaicans, Brazilian, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban, Colombian, etc., right? Native American. That's what I'm talking about, right? So with that, I'll give everybody just a quick moment to tune in. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. It will be greatly appreciated. And then we'll get started with the class. We're also going to be covering a couple of the laws of sex according to the Bible, right? We're going to be reading out of Leviticus chapter 18. That's where we're going to be starting. We'll later get into the book of Matthew. We're going to jump around a little bit, right? Go over a few things. And it's important to know these laws, statutes, and commandments in the Bible. I cannot stress that enough, because without it, we are a very destroyed people, right? You see it happen all the time. We have no protection from the Most High. Our oppressors pick at us all the time. What's his name? Peyton Gringen. I mean, let's be real right now. He's just a long list of white supremacists and racists who have caused so much pain within our communities. He's just one, right? This has been going on for centuries. I know a lot of people like to say, what do Christians love to say? Forgive and forget, right? We all should just love one another. Who taught you that doctrine? It was the white man that taught you that doctrine. A lot of brothers and sisters today suffer from what I like to call Stockholm syndrome, right? The very people who harmed you, murdered you, raped you, enslaved your people, forced false religion on them, cut their hair, fed them to alligators, used them as alligator bait, made shoes and clothing out of them, right? Slaughtered them, took over their land. I'm talking about the native indigenous people of the land. These same people are going to turn right back and tell you, well, you should just forgive us. Oh, really? Let me ask you something. How could somebody who colonized you with the Bible teach you about the Bible? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense, right? So we're going to debunk some of this false doctrine that Christian pastors love to teach. You understand? So with that, we get started with the prayers. So with that, Amijim, just me up here. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but there's a lot of police sirens out there, so you know we're living in hell right now. It's a lot of it. La Yasharala, which means to Israel. Amadim Apan Yah Hakwadam, which means to rise and face the east. You start with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Ayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakutka, Taba'ah, Atazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Ba'alataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashamayim, Batalanawa, Lakam, Call, Yawam, Basalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawathinawa, Wala'ah, Dabayanawa, Banasaiwan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wataparath, Lawalumium, Aman. Now in the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Hakak, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Babakasha, Latanmanawa, Hakak, Hakak, Larapa'ah, Call, Makala, Wakal, Matawa, Hakak, Atahar, Ha, Matazariah, Hakak, Lahaquayim, Amatyim, Hakak, Ayel, Rakawath, Atama'ala, the Garshun, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for water, Aman. Now in the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushai, thank you. So be it. The blessings in the Hebrew, Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Wa Miyaka Allah, Wa Alahayim, Wa Tazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapyim, Ha Saronyim, Ha Kwatazayoyin, Ha Kayayoyin, Wa Ha Akwathian, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for water, Aman. Now in the English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Aryanya, All, Haharyam, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Izoria, Ma'im, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'arataza, Al Yatan, Lamawat, Ragalka, Al Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyamka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayallah, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makar, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'athka, Obawa'athka, Maitha, Wa'ai, Awalam. Just like this one moment. Now in the English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy coming out, what's like it, thy going out, and thy coming in, from this time forth, and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, all, Damaya, Laka, all, Dakarash, wa all, Dashakwat, all, Kaya, Hana, Awayebuka, Yahama, Yawan, Ra'ash, Ayo, Amaka, Ya'amwa, Sawada, Waita, Aitazawa, Ayo, Tazapawanyaka, Amorwa, Lakawa, Wanakakinum, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala, Awada, Kaya, Natazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Ayaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahoya, Adawam, Wa Yashama Alium. Let's see. Yeshabia. Oh, Slakia. Mawa'aba, Wahagorium, Gabar, Wayama1, Wayamalak, Palashah, Am Yeshabia, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imum, Hayawa, Zorawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Lahum, Kamudyam, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayubya, Banakor, Hoyashwan, Nashamara, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayadamwa, Nada, Yamwa, Kairab, Wakaza'aba, Wakazabak, Wakatazor, Manai, Kor, Nasa Yakamwa, Ashor, Amorwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Ath, Naawath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shayadamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Rawaka'a, Ka'ash, Daba'ira, Ya'ira, Wa Kalahaba, Falahat, Haryum, Kun, Tharadatma, Basairaka, Babasa, Wapafka, Dabahalam, Mala'a, Panyahum, Kwalawan, Waya, Bakwashwa, Shemka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Adi'ai, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Daiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shemka, Yahawa, Labarka, either one, I'll call Harataza. Now in the English, keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. A sword also was joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them, as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zaid. Yea, all their princes, as Zabah, and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high of all the earth. Okay, slag it. All right, so we're going to be reading out of the book of Leviticus, chapter 18. I'm going to start at let's see. Start at verse 4. Let's see, the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse, let me see, verse 4 in the Hebrew. Af, Mashapad Taya. Let's see. Thaishaya. Let's see. Wa'af. Ka, let me see. Ka Afya. Tasha Madaya. La Ba'af. Ka'am. Let's see. Anya. Waya Aya. All Haya Ba'am. Let's see. Yashama, let's see. Yashama da Tha'am Af Ka Kakwathaya. Thaya. Let's see. Waya Af Tashapat Taya. Ashad. Why Ashya, a thumb. Let's see. Ha Da'am, Yakaya, Ka'am, Anya, Waya Aya, Ta, Ayash, see, Ayash, all, Ka'al, Sha'ad, see, Kashadya, La'a, let's see, Thaqwa da Baya, Laga La Ya'af, I da Ya'a, Adya, Anya, Waya Aya, Ta, I da Ya'af, Abayan, let's see, Wa'ai da Ya'af, let's see, Ahmad, La'a, Thaga, La'a, let's see, Ahmad, let's see, Ahmad. Ha ya'a la'a thab kwa thaga la'a I daya thaya ta I let's see ad ya'af let's see ashaf aba ya'an la'a thaga la'a I ada ya'af abayan had ya'a ta ida ya'af akaya tha'an ba'ath abayan aya bath Ahmad Mayala Da'af Kayaf Aya Mayala Da'af Kayai La'a Thaga La'a Ida Ya Adaya Tha'an Tha'at Salakia Tha'an Ta Ada let's see I Dayan let's see Ka'af Kan let's see Kanan let's see Aya Ba'ath Katha'an La'a Thaga La'a Ida Ya Tha'an Kaya Ida Ya Tha'an Hanya'a Ta Ida Ya'ath Ba'ath Ashath Abayan Maya Lada'ath Abayan let's see Akaya Tha'an Ha Ya Ya'a La'a Thaga La'a Ida Ya Tha'a Ta. All right, so that's it for that. Slaggy. There we go. Check something. Okay, so now we're going to go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 4. So it says, Ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances to walk therein. I am the Lord your God. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord. Verse 6. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord. The nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother, thou shalt not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Verse 8. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. Now, this is a cold one right here, right? These are the laws of uncovering nakedness, who you can and cannot sleep with. So this seems pretty straightforward, right? This is talking about, to put it in a simpler term, the Most High is saying, do not commit incest. I know that sounds wild, right? The Lord is literally telling you, do not commit incest. Do not sleep with your mother. Do not sleep with your father. That's disgusting, first of all. But this is a cold one right here. The nakedness of thy father's wife, thou shalt not uncover. Now, I know there's some, look, I'm just going to keep it real with you. I know there's some brothers out there that got some fetishes, right? Stepmom, all that stuff, right? It says right here, thou shalt not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. We have a saying, right? A woman is an extension of her man. So let's say, okay, for example, like my father, my biological father and my biological mother, they're not together anymore. My father has another woman, right? So now Even though that woman is not my biological mother, that is my father's woman. So I am to not uncover her nakedness because that would be the equivalent of uncovering my father's nakedness. Why? Because that woman is an extension of him. She is a part of him. I'm roughly paraphrasing in Genesis when it says that we will cleave onto one flesh. When a man and a woman get together, you are now one. Yes, you're two different genders and you're two different living vessels and beings, but you are, in the eyes of the Most High, one. So to uncover one is to uncover the other. So if you uncover your quote unquote stepmother's nakedness, you weirdos, I'm just being honest. Some weirdos out there. You are uncovering your father's nakedness. Here in the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana, we have a saying, if you're trying to go after another man's woman, you're gay. There's no way around it. Because if you uncover that, if you sleep with another man's wife, not only are you uncovering her nakedness, you're uncovering his nakedness. So in spirit, you're sleeping with him. Really think about it for a second. Like wicked brothers in the world, so-called Black and Latino men in the world, right? What do they usually do to get back at another brother? They rap about it and sing about it all the time. I'm gonna take his woman. They usually say the B word, but I'm gonna take his, right? Because deep down in our spirit, we know that woman is precious to that man. That's a part of him. To take another man's woman is to take a part of him, which is evil, wicked, and just gay. There's no other way of saying it. It's just wrong. All right? This is why it emphasizes this right here. I'm going to read it one more time. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. Let's keep it going. Verse 9. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even in their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. The nakedness of thy son's daughter, meaning your niece, right? Or not not your niece, your son's daughter, your granddaughter, right? Your granddaughter. Or of thy daughter's daughter, granddaughter. Even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter. That's another cold one. Begotten of thy father, she is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. So this is going over the different laws of, who you can and cannot sleep with. So these are rules, you weirdos, brothers out there with them fetishes. Do not sleep with your mother. That's disgusting. Do not sleep with your sister. Do not try to sleep with your father. First of all, I don't even know why you would want to sleep with your father's wife. First of all, that's your father. Like, come on. Like, that's a whole different type of wickedness right there. All types of wicked. You're not supposed to do these things, right? Now, you're probably wondering, why am I going over this type of stuff in my classes about Immaculate Conception, right? Well, we got to give the breakdown first of, what is lawful and what is not lawful of sex, right? Also, another thing, you can look all throughout the Bible. You will never find the word girlfriend. You will never find the word girlfriend in the Bible. Why? Because it does not exist. It doesn't. You might find spouse, or a woman who is betrothed to you, but you'll never find girlfriend. Right? Why is that? So let's drop this. Let's go to Exodus 22 and 10. It's like 21 and 10, right? Because we cannot emphasize this enough. Sex is marriage, okay? It's indicated all throughout the Bible, right? We're going to prove it. Exodus 21 and 10. If he take him another... Oh, Slakias. That's not what I'm looking for. 21 and 10. That is not what I'm looking for. Salakia, hold on. It's not the one I'm looking for. 22 and 16, Salakia. And it says, and if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, meaning entice, meaning he's, spitting game to that sister, he's trying to swoon her, that is not betrothed, meaning that she doesn't belong to anybody else, and lie with her, meaning he's having sex with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Not his girlfriend, not his side piece, not his mistress. No, that's his wife. All throughout the Bible, you don't see brothers getting down on one knee and, proposing a ring to his future wife. No, that's not what happens all throughout the Bible. That is a European custom. That's a white person custom, right? Last time I checked, we're not European. And you got to think, you go to all these Christian churches, and we usually get married in. You get married in a Christian church, right? After you done proposed and got on one knee and did all that garbage, right? Brother, I'm here to tell you that was your wife all along. Putting a ring on it doesn't make any difference. That's always been your wife. The second you decided to stick your rod in her, that's your wife now. All right? And sisters need to understand that too, because I know there's a lot of sisters out there who, they want to be married, and you want the security of thinking that, okay, yeah, I got the ring now, I'm in there. Sis, you was already in there. The moment y'all started getting it on and cracking, that was your husband. Y'all are now one flesh. Y'all are cleaved onto one another, right? And that's one of the things that destroys marriages today. And I'm going to tell you why. Because now in America and in today's society, they make brothers and sisters feel like if that man does not put a ring on that woman's finger, she does not have the security of being that man's wife. And you see a lot of sisters, they'll get very self-conscious about it. They think, oh, well, why? It's been like 5 years. Why has he not put a ring on my finger yet? Does he not want to commit to me? Meanwhile, y'all been together for 5 years. Y'all live in the same house. Y'all have kids together. Y'all spend all this time with one another. Y'all done damn near knowing everything about each other. And all you're worried about is that ring, a piece of jewelry, right? That you can lose so easily when washing dishes in the sink and it can fall down the drain. You understand? That ring does not signify your marriage. It's the sex. Nowhere in the Bible will you read when you get on one knee and propose to your wife, now that's your wife. No. Nowhere does it teach that. But in Christian churches, they teach that. Show me the precept. Show me the scripture, right? And that's what destroys marriages today, because now you see a lot of brothers and sisters, well, I'll say mostly sisters, who will feel insecure and they want to pressure their man into marrying them through European customs. And then, of course, brothers today don't want to take no responsibility for their woman anyway half the damn time. So they are very hesitant to put that ring on that finger, because now they're starting to realize, oh, I have to spend the rest of my life with this woman now. I don't have the option to leave her. Meanwhile, you've been with her for 10 years and you never left her. So what's the difference now? There is no difference. You've always been married. The second y'all got together, y'all were married. That's a demon. That's a demon that's been plagued on our people. That is not Black and Latino customs. That is not Hebrew Israelite custom to put a ring on it, right? Now, is it wrong to have a celebration? No, it's not wrong to have a celebration, right? Remember when Jacob was about to get, supposedly he was supposed to get married to Rachel originally, they threw a party. Now, ain't nothing wrong with throwing a party. Like, Blacks and Latinos, we celebrate for everything. Like, your kid can graduate the 8th grade and we'll treat it like he's a war veteran or something like that, right? That's just who we are as a people. It is not a sin to celebrate a marriage. It's not a sin. Just understand that the celebration or ceremony is not what signifies the marriage. It's you having sex, right? Jacob took Rachel as a wife when he had sex with her. Leah as a wife when he had sex with her. Bilhah and Zilpah when he had sex with them. You understand? David, all his wives, he had sex with them. Now, we're going to get into the main topic, right? The main topic is this Immaculate Conception that the Christian church loves to teach. So now we're going to drop this, right? It's like, I'm going to drop this. We are going to go to the book of Matthew. Let's see. Book of Matthew. We're going to start right at chapter 1, verse 1. So now it says right here, the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 1. The book of the generation of Yahushua Mashiach, or as you would know him, Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Now, I know you're probably thinking, wait a minute. What do you mean he's the son of David and the son of Abraham? It's talking about a lineage. Remember, it was Noah, who had Shem, Japheth, and Ham, right? Abraham comes from the lineage of Shem. Abraham begat Isaac. Isaac begat Jacob. Jacob begat the 12 tribes of Israel. One of them was Judah. David came from the house of Judah. You understand? Verse 2. Abraham begat Isaac. And Isaac begat Jacob. And Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. You understand? So now, So now this is talking about the lineage of what Jesus Christ came from, right? He came from the house of Judah. Now, this is the part that I wanted to focus on, because Christian pastors and people who know nothing of the Bible will try to teach you that Yahushua Mashiach was just some entity that was born in Mary's womb, right? Let's talk about it real quick. So now let's start first, verse 16. And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yahushua, who is called Christ. So Mary had a husband named Joseph. Verse 17. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. So it's talking about the generations of Christ, right? Now the birth of Yahushua Mashiach was on the wise, when as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Okay, so this is the part that a lot of people get stuck on right here, right? So it says, when as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child. So Christians will read that and think, wait a minute, that means that she had a child already. Christ was already inside of her before her and Joseph had sex. No. Remember, we said sex is marriage, right? We read it in the Bible. Now, let's read verse 19. Then Joseph, her husband. You got to understand that, right? In verse 16, it says Joseph, the husband of Mary. Meaning what? That they were already having sex. They were already having sex. You understand? That's what people don't understand, that Joseph and Mary were already having sex with each other. They were already husband and wife. So no, she didn't have Christ in her womb before they came together. No. Christ came about because Joseph and Mary had sex. Christians will not teach you that, though. If I could, real quick, let's drop that, right? Let's see. Let's drop that real quick. No, we can keep going. So it says, then Joseph, her husband, being a just man and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privily. Another thing that people don't understand about this particular scripture right here too. So it says, then Joseph, her husband, being a just man and not willing to make her a public example. What does that mean? So now, if you read a little before, it says, when as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, meaning he was promised to, it's like she was promised to Joseph. Now, what does this mean? Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, and he didn't want to make a public example out of her. So here's the thing. Joseph and Mary were supposed to get married at a certain time, right? The thing is, they were already having sex before anybody really knew what was going on. So now, because Joseph was a just man, he didn't want to reveal that about Mary because he didn't want people to start to think that Mary was like a whore, like, or she was a promiscuous woman, like, you know, she couldn't keep her legs closed, like she just wanted to have sex with him so bad, right? He didn't want to make that image of her, so they kept it on the low, right? That's what Joseph did. He just didn't want his wife getting a bad rep. That's all. You know, because in the eyes of some people, it might look a certain kind of way if let's say I'm about to get married to, you know, a sister or whatever, right? You know, a sister, and then let's say we're supposed to get quote unquote married, and it's scheduled to be, let's just say like July 20th or something. But it turns out that me and the sister, we've already been married a month prior to that. We just didn't tell anybody. You know, it's going to come to look a certain way, right? And also at this time, right, it was custom to get the bed sheets, you know, whenever someone got married. Now, if a woman was a virgin in today's society, right? A virgin, as we know, according to biblical scripture, is just a woman who is of a young marriageable age, you know, whether she's married or not, right? However, in today's society, a virgin is usually regarded to someone who's never had sex before. Now, if a woman has never had sex before and you have sex with her for the first time, it's going to be a little blood that comes out, right? So now the bed sheets was to show the blood, to show that she was pure. Like, look, you know, this woman right here, she's never been with another man. So now that she's been with this man, it's been proof that, my daughter's not a whore. This is her man now. You know, she's honorable. You know, it's a good look. The thing is, not too many people knew that Mary and Joseph were already having sex. So if they were to go through with this ceremony per se, there would be no blood. You get my point? There's no blood now because her hymen has already been broken. So now it would come across as if, wait a minute, Mary's been whoring around. She's been having sex. And, you know, he didn't want to have that rep for her. Mary wasn't being a whore. They were just already married. That's all it was, right? Christian pastors are not going to teach that, though. So now let's keep going. But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, so he had a vision. Joseph, the son of David, fear not to take unto Slakia. Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, meaning that's his wife. They're already having sex. Remember that. For that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. So this Holy Spirit that they're talking about, they keep talking and preluding to, this is Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Christ was not born out of thin air. Some people try to teach that God came down and impregnated Mary. First of all, this is not Greek mythology. Okay, if you want to read about that stuff of God's flying down from heaven in Olympus and stuff, impregnating mortal women, you're thinking of like Zeus and Hades and Poseidon. That's false Greek mythology, right? And also, a lot of those gods were homosexuals because they were having sex with men and animals and all types of weird stuff, right? Again, showing the nature of Esau. Those are his gods. That's not ours, all right? So it says, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take thee unto Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. Verse 21, and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, or Yahushai, for he shall save his people from their sins. Not to get too off topic, but again, this is preluding to Yahushai Mashiach coming for the house of Israel, his people. When you say his people, his and hers, that's a possessive term. Like, for example, this is somebody would say this is his book. I mean, it belongs to somebody. This is his drink. It belongs to somebody. It's possessive. So now we already went over that he came through the lineage of David, right? Joseph came from the lineage of David. You are who your father is. Matter of fact, if I could real quick, we'll drop this just real quick. I just want to show some people something. We're gonna go to for water. Appreciate you. So we're gonna go to, I believe it's First Chronicles. First Chronicles. Where is it at? It's locked. Give me a second. First Chronicles. I'm gonna have to find it in here. Wow, I appreciate it. Set that up there for now. Let's see. First Chronicles. It'll be First Chronicles chapter 2. There it is. First Chronicles chapter 2. We'll start at verse 1, right? I want to show some people something. So remember, Joseph came from the lineage of David, right? Which came from the house of Judah, right? So this is showing that Yahushua Mashiach would be a Judite. You understand? And you are who your father is. This is a little off topic, but I just want to show some people something. So it says in verse 1 of First Chronicles chapter 2, these are the sons of Israel: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. Now it says the sons of Judah, and Onan, and Shelah, which 3 were born unto him of the daughter of Shua, the Canaanites. Now, Shua would be a Canaanite woman, right? She was not of Israel. Now, you all, of course, already know that you're not supposed to be sleeping with other nations of women. It's all throughout the Bible. The most famous one of them all, King Solomon. We all know that story, right? That's a perfect example, right? Nehemiah even references this by saying that, did not Solomon sin for this? We can also talk about Samson. Samson was sleeping around with Philistine women, and he died because of that. Remember that. You got to understand. Now, going back to this, right? Oh, one more thing. I know some people will say, well, Moses had an Ethiopian woman. Yeah, and there was also a time where Solomon took Pharaoh's daughter to wife. Yes, there were times in the Bible where we had women of other nations. Just because we did it didn't make it right? And you could see how it trickled down and caused problems later on. So now, Judah wasn't supposed to be sleeping with no Canaanite woman, but he did. That was his wife, right? Regardless. And they bore children. Now, it'll give a very, very long list of the lineage of Judah, all their kids, right? And you'll drop down. Go to verse 34. First Chronicles chapter 2, verse 34. And it says now, right? Now Shishun had no sons. Still talking about the lineage of Judah, right? He had no sons, but he only had daughters. Now, it says, and Shishun had a servant, an Egyptian. This trips up people too, whose name was Jerah. So now we can identify that this was a man, right? It says he's an Egyptian. And Shishun gave his daughter to Jerah, his servant, to wife. And she bare him a tie. Now, for those of y'all who don't have a Blue Letter Bible, I strongly suggest that y'all download it. It's very quick, right? Y'all be on your phones anyway. Download the Blue Letter Bible, and it'll give you all the Hebrew interpretations of the words in the English translation. Now, this trips up people because you would think, right? Wait a minute, you are who your father is. So if this servant was an Egyptian and got with Shishun's daughter, that would make that child an Egyptian. right? Not the case. If you look up the term Egyptian in the Blue Letter Bible, believe it or not, the Bible actually identifies certain people in here by nationality, not ethnicity. In this case, he was an Egyptian, but he wasn't a Mizraim. He wasn't of Mizraim, meaning that he wasn't an actual Egyptian as far as his bloodline. He was from Egypt. He was a citizen of Egypt. It's like similar to how Ruth, a lot of people think that Ruth is a Moabite. No, it identifies as a Moabitess because there were Israelites that lived in other lands at that time too, just like Job. Job was from Uz. He was still an Israelite, but Uz, that was Edomite territory. So people think, wait, well, Job must have been an Edomite. Mm-mm. He would be Edom as far as nationality, not ethnicity. Also, there's been times in the Bible it identifies, if any of y'all don't know who this what this is, Gilo. Gilo was a city in Judah, and if you lived in Gilo, you would be identified as a Gilonite because you just lived there. You were a resident. Caleb's father, Caleb was a Judite. His father was actually identified as a Kezanite because he lived in a territory in Canaan at the time. So it identifies them as their nationality, not their ethnicity. It did the same thing right here in First Chronicles chapter 2, verse 35. Because if you look up the ethnicity of Attai, their son, it'll identify him as a Judite, not an Egyptian. Also, let's rewind it all the way back to verse 3. Judah slept with a Canaanite woman, correct? So all their children were identified as Judites, not Canaanites. Also, this is pretty much a perfect cut for anybody. I know you're going to bump into people who are saying, well, you have Hamite features and you're from Ham and blah, 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 because Canaanites, it's like Canaanites come from Ham, right? But there were plenty of times where Israelites slept with Hamites, and we took their women as wives. It happened quite often, a little more than what it should have, to be honest with you. So if anybody tries to tell you, well, you have African DNA in you, that ain't good enough because our forefather was a Judite. Doesn't matter. All right? There was a lot of mixing going on. I know people are going to use DNA tests. I know some people are going to say that Mexicans are Asian. I've bumped into that. I don't know where the hell that came from, but, they try to make up anything. Oh, you got Spaniard, didn't you? Nah, God does not care about a percentage of DNA you have. He cares about who your father's bloodline is. And because Judah slept with a Canaanite woman, that would mean that Yahushua Mashiach would have some Hamite blood in him, but it doesn't matter. They're not concerned about the mother's lineage, they're concerned about the father's lineage. Also, brothers, do not use this as an excuse to try to sleep with heathen women. It's still wrong. Don't do that, all right? I just wanted to show that for everybody. So now we can go all the way back, Salakia. We can go all the way back to the book of Matthew, chapter 1. And we can go back to verse 22, right? So now we've already showed that Yahushua Mashiach was not born out of thin air, right? God did not come down from the heavens and impregnate Mary. No. Joseph and Mary were already having sex. That's all it was, all right? And Christ was born through Joseph and Mary having sex. So now let's continue. Now it says, now all this was done, that which might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, behold, a virgin shall be with child. This is another thing that people get tripped up on, because now in today's modern society, you think that virgin means a woman who's never had sex before. False. Like I stated earlier, biblically, matter of fact, give me 1 second real quick. Slack. Let's go into the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary real quick. Zondervan's Bible Dictionary. And we're going to look up what virgin means. Let's see. There's a lot in here. Let's see. Let's go. Virgin. Okay, right here. Let's see, it says virgin, a young unmarried woman, right? It is also used figuratively to personify a city or state. A young woman of marriageable age, whether married or not. So now, what this is showing is that Mary was a virgin. Mary was a virgin, but not because she never had sex. It's because she was a young woman who was of marriageable age, even though she was married onto Joseph. She had a husband, and Mary was having sex. So, just so we're clear on that, Christian pastors will not teach you that. They will not teach you that. You understand? So now, when it says, behold, a virgin shall be with child and shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us. Then Joseph, being raised from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord had bidden him, and took unto him his wife. Remember, they were already married. Right? And now it says, and knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son, and called his name Jesus. Now, some people might get tripped up on this. It says, and knew her not till she had brought forth the firstborn son. Sometimes when it says knew, it'll say, it means like, how can I say it? Having sex with, right? So now you would think, well, I thought you said sex was marriage. It says right here that, and knew her not until she had brought forth the firstborn son. They just weren't having sex at that time. That's all. He was already having sex with her before then. She was pregnant. That's all it was. And now, child is born. Yahushua Mashiach, right? Born in flesh and blood, just like you and me, and he had a mother and a father. Let me show you something else real quick, right? Let's see. To show you even more proof that that is his father, his biological father, the book of John, chapter 6, verse 42. And it says, and they said, is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, plain as day, whose father and mother we know? Now is it then that he saith, I came down from heaven? People get tripped up on this. They think Christ just, descended down. No. The Spirit was sent by the Most High. The Spirit. However, born in flesh and blood like you and me, he was born of his father and his mother. Let's keep it going real quick. Let's see. Let's go up right here. Let me see. Is this the one I want? Let's go to Matthew chapter 13, verse 55. I believe that's the one I want. Let's see. The book of Matthew chapter 13, verse 55. Is this not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother Mary, and his brethren James, and it's like Joseph, and Simon, and Judas, and his sisters? Are they not all with us? Whence then hath this man all these things? Meaning what? The carpenter's son is talking about Joseph. Joseph, right? Is not his mother called Mary? It's his mom. Let's keep it going real quick. Now, to show you even more that your Christian pastor has been lying to you, Hebrews, the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 16. And it says, for verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took of him the seed of Abraham. Meaning what? Christ was born through the seed of Abraham, just like the rest of us. Just like the rest of us. He did not take the nature of an angel. It's not what he did. You understand? He didn't take on the nature of an angel, meaning that he was not some otherworldly being. He was a man born in flesh and blood. He had skin, hair, eyes, hands. He breathed with lungs. He had a brain. He was a man, just like me, just like all the other brothers out here. Now, the reason why Christian pastors love to teach that Yahushua Mashiach is, some otherworldly being is because Christ was sent here to be an example of us, right? He was supposed to be an example that we should follow. Like this man right here, this is how you're supposed to live. This is how you're supposed to serve the Most High. Christian pastors like to make it seem like, well, Christ was just a myth. You want to know why they do that? They try to make it seem like it's impossible to be like Christ because Christ was never like us. He's an angel. You can't be like an angel. Angels, they're not born in flesh. They're not suffered with temptation like me and you. They don't suffer from lust and, oh, I don't really want to do this or I want to do that. They don't suffer from that. Whatever they get told to do, they do it. That's it. And they take pleasure in it. If God tells them to go burn down Los Angeles right now, they will happily do it. If the Most High tells them go to Chicago and save all the so-called blacks and Hispanics over there, they'll do it. Whatever it is, they will do it. They don't suffer from temptation like you and me. Christ suffered from temptation. Christ suffered from temptation just like me and you. All right? Remember, Christ wept. Christ cried before. He showed emotion. You understand? He had compassion for his people. He had feelings. You understand? Just like all the other Israelites. He was human. Just like me and you. The thing is, Christian pastors won't teach you that because they want you to think, it's okay. You can just keep sinning. Christ, he was a different case. He was a different case. You can't be like him. Just keep doing what you're doing and just keep asking for forgiveness over and over and over again until the day you die. That's it. You can buy prostitutes. You can get tattoos. You can smoke weed. You can sit here and celebrate pagan holidays. You can bring pork to Sunday service. You can sit here and be a stripper and a whoremonger. You can sit here and be out here thotting on Tinder and whatever else we got nowadays. I don't know. From Monday all the way to Saturday, and you can come in clean as a whistle on Sunday. And we'll pretend like it never happened. God will forgive you. No, that's not how it works. They're lying to you. And the reason why they're lying to you is because your Christian pastor is a sinner. He's a false prophet. I don't even like saying prophet. He's a false teacher. I don't even want to give them the title of prophet or priest. They're lying to you because they're wicked. And the thing is with wickedness likes to dwell with wickedness. Since they're wicked, they want to be wicked just like you. And they want you to be wicked just like them. They're not going to tell you to better yourself. And here we'll tell you to better yourself. That's why a lot of people don't like me in an ISUPK. They'll leave because they don't want to let go of those carnal, lustful desires. They like to commit adultery. They like to celebrate pagan holidays. They like doing drugs. They like doing all these things. They like sleeping with heathen women and heathen men. They like being strippers and prostitutes and having an Onlyfans account. They like being pimps and whoremongers. They love it. They don't want to give it up. That's why they can't function in the ISUPK. So that should say something about you because you're here and you functioning just fine. You function just fine. If you got a demon on you, you know how to deal with it. You know who to go to for guidance, right? So that you don't end up back in the world. Everybody else, they can't do that, right? That's why they teach the Immaculate Conception. They want you to think that Christ is just some supernatural being that appeared out of thin air. He's a fairy tale. That's what they like to do. Because if he's a fairy tale or he's an angel or a spirit, well, you can't possibly be like him because you're just a man. You're just a woman. That's all you are. Nah, that ain't it, Chief. Christian pastor been lying to you, right? But with that, so that's the end of that, right? So we went over a couple of things, right? It'll be like a shorter class today. Went over a couple of things. You know, the Immaculate Conception is a lie. It's false. Does not exist. All right. We just read it in the Bible. Christ had a daddy, y'all. He had a biological father whose name was Joseph. I know some people get tripped up on that. Well, it says that his father is the Most High. That is, that is Israel's father in a sense, right? Because that is our relationship with the Most High. We are his children. No different from Christ being his children. It's like it being his child, his son. You understand? But just like we have our spiritual father, the Most High, we also have biological fathers. I mean, we had to get here somehow, right? Your mommy and your daddy, they got busy. Now you're here. Same thing with Joseph and Mary. No different. Absolutely no different. Right? So that's cut. All right, so if anybody, I don't think anybody has any questions. So at the water for everybody that tuned in. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. We got to continue pushing this truth out because, look, Satan is working overtime. I'll tell you that right now. But it doesn't matter because the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana is working harder. So with that, right, man, the class, if nobody has any questions. And with that, Amadium, just me up here. Ooh, slack here. Laya Sharala. Amadim Apanya Akwadam, which means to stand and face the east. Begin with the Lord's Prayer. In the Hebrew, this is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakuvka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Latananawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Basalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawathinawa, Bala'a, Nabayanawa, Manasaiwan, Mabal, Habashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wataparath, Lawalumium, Aman. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Hakak, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Babakashah, Batamlanawa, Hakak, Hakak, Thrapa'ah, Kor, Makalah, Wakor, Matawah, Hakak, Latahar, Ha, Matazorayim, Hakak, Lahaquayim, Amathim, Hakak, Io, Rakawath, Atama Allah, Lagar Shun, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Thawada, Amun. Now in the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers. Oh, Slakia. Lost my spot. The power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushai, thank you. So be it. The blessings in the Hebrew, Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Wa Meyaka Allah, Wa Alahayim, Wa Tazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapyim, Ha Saranyim, Ha Kwatazayoyim, Ha Kayayoyim, Wa Ha Akwathim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, the water, Amun. In English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohanan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, O, Haharyim, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Izoria, Ma'ain, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, Oyadun, Lamawats, Ragorka, it's like all, Yanawam, Shemorka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayishun, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shemorka, Yahweh, Tzalka, Oyad, Yimyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayallah, Yahweh, Shemorka, Makor, Rai, Yashamar, Af, Napashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Kaza'afka, Wabawa'afka, Ma'itha, Wa'id, Awalam. In the English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, All, Damayah, Lakah, All, Takarash, Wa'al, Dashakwat, All, Kaya, Hana, Awayabyaka, Yahama, Yawan, Ra'ash, Io, Imaka, Ya'ayamwa, Sawada, Waita, Yaitazawa, Io, Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidam, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala, Iwada, Kaya, Natazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Ayaka, Bar Yaf, Yakarathwa, Ahoya, Adawam, Wayashamaalim, Mawaaba, Wahagorium, Gabal, Wamawan, Wamalak, Palashaf, Amishabia, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Zorawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kamudyam, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayubyan, Manakal, Kwayashwan, Nashamarwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, Lahadama, Shayatamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kairab, Wakazaaba, Wakazabak, Wakazazor, Manai, Ko, Nasa Yakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Af, Nawaf, Alahayam, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Raka'a, Ka'ash, Dabaira, Yaira, Wa Kalahaba, Falahat, Harayum, Kun, Taradama, Wasairaka, Wabasa, Wapafka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Panyahum, Kuala One, Waya, Lakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Adi'ai, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Daiwa, Kaya, Ada, Shamka, Yahawa, Labarka, Ayawan, Alka, Harataza. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. But they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. A sword also was joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zaid. Yea, all their princes as Zabah, and as Amunah, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high of all the earth. Shalom, Israel.